All right, hey everyone. Thank you for joining us on the Smart Stage today. We have a tour group that we hope is going to be joining us here, so we're going to just sort of pace ourselves a little bit for a minute or two and hopefully fill up some more chairs. My name is Katie McGregor-Bennett. I'm the CEO of KMB
Hello.
Communications. We do PR in the industry. We also do a lot of content development, social media marketing. My personal passion is connecting the worlds of design and technology, so that's why I'm here today. To help extract some insights, some knowledge, and some useful tidbits that you guys can all take home to learn how to make a better, stronger design tech connection. So thanks again for joining us on the Smart Stage. I'm Katie McGregor-Bennett. I'd like to introduce our panelists here. I'll name them by name, and then they'll take a minute just to share with you a little bit about their background, what they do, and what they're here to tell you about today. So on my left is Joe Whitaker from Origin Acoustics, Jamie Briesmeister, Integration Controls, Oren Charm with Charm and Imagination, Chelsea Butler is the editor of KBB, Kitchen and Bath Business Magazine, and Pam McNally is the Senior VP of Digital for the National Kitchen and Bath Association. Joe, kick it off if you would and share with us a little bit about what you do and your background.
Hello everyone, I'm Joe Whitaker. I was an integrator for around 22 years, owned a company in St. Louis, Missouri and Dallas, Texas, and decided one day that I wanted to go be a manufacturer.
He went to the other side.
Yes, I went to the other side. But the timing was perfect because what I do is business development, product development, strategic partnerships with other manufacturers as well as with our integration partners like Jamie. So we're all about the design-centric technology, so this is perfect for us. And it was why I was so excited to join the team I did, because it is our goal to build and create amazing, beautiful experiences for companies like Jamie's to install and integrate into consumers' homes.
Thank you, Joe. My name is Jamie Briesmeister, and I'm an integrator out of St. Louis, Missouri. Joe and I were once competitors, friendly competitors. We rarely bumped heads, but now that he's on the manufacturing side, we're working together in a whole new way. As an integrator, some of you were in the session earlier today. You heard us talk about design and technology, why it's important, why your clients love it. Hopefully you'll get a few more nuggets that you can take home and make everything better whenever you design and go about your work.
Hi, I'm Oren Charm. I've been on both sides. I've been a manufacturer and an integrator. I've been in this business since the 70s. I started out designing recording studio mixing consoles and then took that technology and put it into some home AV products and started selling technology, telephone systems, speakers into high-end homes, and then went to work for one of the top 2 or 3 integrators in LA doing homes for studio chiefs and movie producers. And somewhere along the line I started using AutoCAD as a design tool and a way of communicating with architects and designers. And then CEDIA came along. I started a council for systems integration to help improve conversations between manufacturers of different products and the people that had to install them and explain them to the customers. And I was teaching classes at CEDIA on documentation and structured wiring and things like that. And then moved into the commercial world to MDUs and student housing and designing networks. We had this crazy idea that if we wired up an apartment building with Ethernet cable, that someone would come along and deliver high-speed internet and everybody in the building could share it. And this was back in the early 90s when that was not a thing. And it worked. People moved into the building so they could plug their computers in, and the Bell companies figured out that they really could deliver internet services to residential users. So it kind of started that whole thing off. And then finally went to work for a manufacturer called Geffen, designing home automation systems and controllers that would allow people to connect not only audio and video, but lighting, security, other systems together and operate them as a single unit. And now I've been working with energy systems and water-based systems, which kind of led me to NKBA and working with designers and integrators on bringing wet things to the technology world. So we'll talk about that later.
That's hard to follow up on. I'm Chelsea Butler. I'm the executive editor of Kitchen and Bath Business Magazine. We've got copies out in the hallway, so if you haven't done so already, please pick one up. We've got a lot of really good design and technology content in there. This is my first time at the show. It's really exciting to be here. And, you know, our goal is to integrate our designers with the tech, with smart tech, and to get them more involved in adding this particular service to their offerings.
Is that it? Okay. So I picked this seat, so I don't have to say much. I'm at the end. Nobody wants to hear from me. I'm Pamela McNally, and I'm with the NKBA. And if anybody doesn't know what that means, that's the National Kitchen and Bath Association. And what we are is an association for the kitchen and bath industry that really supports, educates, and informs, and we welcome everybody. Back to you.
Are you sure you don't want to? No?
No, I'm done. Thanks.
Okay, all right. We'll pick you up at the end. All right. Quick show of hands from the audience, if I can just ask for your attention for a quick moment. In the audience, do we have designers? Raise your hand. Beautiful. Architects? Builders? Technology integrators? Manufacturers? Couple more. Distributors? Reps? Giraffes? Unicorns? Flamingos? Gotcha. Okay, good. Perfect. All right. So now we know who we're talking to.
Those were the NKBA members, the ones that raised their hands right there.
Are you sure? Because it sounded like CEDIA members too. I don't know.
There are a few people here for the fashion show. They came to the wrong show.
Oh no, they came to the right show. Come on, Oren. All right, let's get down to business here. Pam, first question for you. NKBA, National Kitchen and Bath Association, does amazing research and produces incredible reports with fantastic insights. Seriously, they are incredible reports with fantastic insights. This is one of the things that has spurred my passion to better connect these two industries over the last 3 years, is following these reports, getting to know Pam, and really digging into those details. So Pam, with that in mind, recent trends, recent reports, talk to us a little bit about what you guys are hearing, specifically related to technology and design, and what's rising to the surface.
So I think what we found in our most recent research, we just had our conference, and the one thing that I thought was very interesting that I passed on was, you know, we have about a third of our kitchen designers using integrators already, which is super good news, and about the same number also for bath. So we know that our designers, a good portion, about 1/3, are using integrators. The bad news is that of that group, about 60 to 65% weren't happy with the results. And that's not good news, right? So we love the fact that they're actually using integrators and they're actually wanting to reach out and put technology into the home and collaborate. But the fact that they weren't happy is kind of not really a good thing. So that's why, you know, we have undertaken what we've done this conference, sitting up here in this panel, to try to understand why they weren't happy. And I think it has a lot to do with what we're all going to be talking about. Like, how do you find them? How do you find the right partner to work with? How do you work with them? So there you go.
Yeah, and we've had this conversation a few times. So if you're an NKBA member and you attended KBIS this year, there was a similar panel session with Jamie and I were on where we talked a lot about this. So if this is sounding familiar or if this is an interesting topic, just know that there are other recorded conversations about this that you can go and look for. I do want to take a quick moment and mention the word integrator. So I know we do have a lot of designers in the audience today. One more ask on show of hands. Do any of you currently work with a technology integrator? Okay, beautiful. Okay, good. So for quick education, for those of you who don't know, if we're talking about a tech integrator, who is that, what is that? That is an individual, much like Jamie and her company, and the technicians behind him, who will come out to your facility, your site, your home. They will help you identify the right products, technology-based products for your interests, your needs, your desires. They'll put together a package or a series of packages for you and allow you to make decisions based on your needs and your budget. They're really integral to making the right decision to make sure you've got the right technology that will all work together cohesively and not have a bunch of disparate technologies. It doesn't work well together. That latter scenario is where, to Pam's earlier point, where technology tends to break the relationship and where perhaps sometimes we don't have a great experience. When we work with technologies that don't integrate well, we're introducing some of these complexities. An integrator will help make sure that that doesn't happen. So whether that's for yourself or for your clients, it's just really good to know that integrators are out there. We call them integrators, technology integrators. There's a million different names for them. But these are the guys and the gals that you really want to have on your team when you're working with clients who are interested in having any technology of any sort in your home. When I'm talking about technology, for another point of clarification, we're talking about audio, video, entertainment, ambiance, not necessarily hoods and ranges and the technology and the appliances, though it is all technically in the same technology umbrella. So I just wanted to give you guys a few clarifying points here so the rest of the conversation makes a little bit more sense. So with that in mind, Joe, talk a little bit about technology trends. Work from home obviously is a big one, wellness, entertainment options. How kitchens and baths have become more tech-centric, catering to the outdoor experience, all of those fun things. Just talk to us a little bit about current trends and some of the things that are rising to the surface again that our audience should know about.
Well, I think in life right now, we're coming into a second renaissance of home technology. You know, a decade ago, it was all about, you know, the big theaters and the big speakers and everything you could do in your home that was really focus-based. But what the pandemic has taught us is we all learned that, yes, we liked to go to the movies, we liked to go to concerts, we liked to do all those things. But then we figured out we can actually have an experience even better at home by the smart use of technology, smart use of music, smart use of anything that we could have had for lifestyle technologies, cooking better, cooking cleaner. Think of the amount of tech you actually have in your bathroom. I mean, the things we plug in nowadays is kind of crazy. So that moves us to today, where we are out of the pandemic, but we did learn that we like to enjoy these things at home. And some of us are still working from home. Some of us still have kids at school from home. So we're now at the point where we can put the technologies that we have today, the things you go out and see on the floor, and utilize those for a more pleasurable experience at home. But the thing is, now they can be beautiful, right? It's not like the big old black TVs of the past. Now we can do ones that function as a painting. We could do all these neat things that we couldn't do before. We now understand that we have to treat room acoustics with importance because we've been on Zoom calls and we can hear crazy echoes. But most of us are used to seeing acoustic panels that are just ugly. You know, they're not very pretty. Well, there are pretty ones, believe me. You can find some right down that way. You can make things prettier, and we're really coming to a time where we have to team up and work together. We don't want to have the argument anymore of my $5,000 TV versus your $5,000 throw rug. No. We're going to build one whole room together where we can bring the technology in, and you guys can make sure that it fits your design. Work from home is one of the big ones. Outdoor spaces. During the pandemic, we all went outdoors a lot because we couldn't go anywhere. Like, you know, our backyard was our life. So now we're turning these entertainment places into secondary cooking places. Amazing outdoor kitchens. We also want better shades. We're using motorized shades and draperies outdoors. We're using music and video displays to be able to watch, you know, the big game. I don't know if anybody's ready for playoff baseball. I know Jamie is with me. That's right, Cardinals. I mean, we're enjoying life at home a much different way than we did before. We're not meeting our friends out at the movies or the concert. We're inviting them to the concert in my backyard. So, but the big problem is integrators don't know pretty. We don't. We don't know beautiful.
I might know pretty.
You do. This is different. But most of us, we know beautiful Bang & Olufsen speakers. We know these products that are beautiful. We don't know how to build a room like that. To build something that is matched to a customer's personality, not only with the colors and the color of light and the textures inside the room. That's you guys' job, of the designers. And the integrators out there, that's our job to make sure that our technology fits within the design of what you guys are doing in the bathroom, in the kitchen, in the living rooms, and the rest of the house.
So you can start to see why we say the design plus tech connection. There is absolutely a connection. And when that connection is made effectively, beautiful things happen. Chelsea, talk a little bit about some of the trends that you wrote about in a recent article. I think it has now been published in KBB Magazine about technology trends from your side of the world.
Yeah, so wellness is obviously a really big deal these days. I think a lot of builders are taking that into account and, you know, building around air quality, improved water quality, things like that. There's, you know, technology to monitor leak and air quality and things like that for peace of mind. Then there's also a luxury side to things. Luxury is not all about how much something costs these days. But technology can also provide that peace of mind for you, which can be luxury. You know, that's a luxury to have peace of mind. There's tunable LED lighting for moods, different scenes, that kind of thing. That can be considered luxury. And then, of course, the myriad of video displays that we've seen here today, if you've been walking around the floor, that's a big deal. I mean, today was the first time I ever stayed in a hotel room that had a TV in the bathroom mirror. So excited about that.
Super annoying, though. Super annoying.
I'm gonna throw my dad under the bus because he, the only smart thing he has in his home is the speaker and the Bluetooth speaker in his bathroom. He doesn't use it at all. He carries a handheld radio all through the house listening to NPR every day. So that's the extent of his smart technology. But, Joe mentioned high-tech home offices, like all the little sister spaces and everything can take advantage of technology as well. Lighting, shading, cameras, that kind of stuff. Like working from home, it's important to have that improved technology. And then, of course, last but not least, how this plays directly into kitchen and baths. I mean, there's all sorts of smart, weird stuff that's out there, ranges that can help you cook, refrigerators that keep inventory and let you know when you've run out of something, that kind of stuff. So it's just going to keep getting bigger and stronger for our industry.
You'll have to excuse the loud noise. That's my booth.
Yeah.
Joe,
actually,
come on.
I think that's the perfect segue because we will rock you with technology. I don't know. All right, Oren, pick up from Chelsea's conversation. You've had some recent technology experiences and advancements in your bathroom.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
I had kind of an awakening moment. Moved into a new house a few years ago, and I had seen at CES, I think, these smart bidet toilet seats. And I said, that sounds like a really cool thing. And I got one and went to install it and realized I needed to have an electrical outlet behind the toilet, which, of course, I didn't have. Having been an integrator for many years, that wasn't a big challenge for me. I got out a saw and some wires, and I put an outlet, the GFC outlet, by the way, behind the toilet, hooked up the bidet, and I had to say that's probably one of the best technology investments I've ever made. For the cost of that seat and the comfort, use it 3 or 4 times a day, probably more than any other piece of technology in the house. And it occurred to me that this was a common problem, that people would probably like these things, except that they have a problem getting them connected. And then I realized the analogy between putting a TV on the wall, and you have the same problem. You can hang a TV on the wall easily, but you have to get power, you have to get wires to it. And who do you call to do that? A technology integrator. Someone from CEDIA that will either come out and put the outlet in, will call an electrician and have them put the outlet in, or if it's an advanced project, they'll put it on the plans, so when they build the house, they'll put the outlet in. Any of those approaches will work, but it takes that knowledge of technology to make it all come together. So it seemed from there that this was a good place for integrators to go looking for new businesses, because who else is going to install that smart toilet? The plumber's not going to do it. The electrician's not going to do it. The architect is probably not going to think about it. And, integrators have 2 great skills that they bring to this job. Number one is that they're able to make things, install things, hide them, make them work. That's number 2. Number 1 is they can sell them to the clients. They have the ability to be the technology contact for the homeowner, for the client, and they're able to sit down and say, you should have this, you'll thank me for it later, let's put it in the budget. And this is a great area to go into. And then we started talking about smart toilets, smart showers, smart kitchen appliances, and thinking these are places, you have to have internet for all these connected kitchen devices. This is a place where a CEDIA integrator can play a very substantial part, either in introducing them to the owner or in assisting with the designer to get this stuff properly installed and connected and working, and for the client to understand how to use it.
So that's a perfect segue then. Pam, talk to us a little bit about relationships that the NKBA has formed with the Home Technology Association and with CEDIA and what that means to your designer community.
So Joe, do you have any pull? I mean, at least can we change the music? Get
That's
something
not
we
just
like?
Joe's booth.
I mean,
It's all around.
Don't you have a
I don't like.
for that?
Yeah, give it a
He's
shot.
allowed to pull his
Give it a
phone out
shot.
and use it for just 30
you know,
seconds.
You know what we found in our research is that where the clients wanted technology, they probably didn't know how to express it, but they live every day with the technology, and then the designer comes in and doesn't know the questions to ask about that kind of living with technology. For example, you talk about the bidet. How many times have you seen a plug behind the toilet? Or somebody put in something, rough something in that doesn't look great? I mean, just make sure that when you're designing, right, a bathroom, even if they don't want a bidet, that it's ready to accept one and you don't have to worry about putting it in afterwards. So what we've done is partner with HTA, Home Technology Associates, and also we partner with CEDIA. Thank you, Jason, for having us, because we know that knowledge is necessary for our designers to be competitive. And also, to be honest, our designers don't know where to go to find the right partner. So working with CEDIA, with HTA, being able to do that, knowing that they're trusted partners, being able to look up people in their area who they can work with. And I think that's really absolutely necessary. As you saw, not a lot of our designers work with integrators. Why? Because they don't know where to go, who to partner with, the questions to ask. So all of this is helping them, and that's why we partner with CEDIA and HTA.
Beautiful. So HTA, Home Technology Association, and CEDIA. If you're here, CEDIA may actually now make a little bit more sense, but it's an acronym. And in AV, we love our acronyms. CEDIA is the Custom Electronic Design and Installation Association. So it's just good to kind of remember what the two associations mean. What it means to you is that they're massive resources for connections into the integration community, to manufacturers, to learning more about technology in general, so that you have a boost of confidence in having those conversations with your clients, right? So we'll have contact information for both of those organizations at the end. Just know that anybody here on the stage, and Pam and Chelsea, I'm going to add you to this list. If we're up here, we are a resource to you to help you find the connections you need. So hand on heart from me personally, my information's at the end. If you need to make a connection with an integrator, an association, a manufacturer, or somebody who talks louder, that information will be there at the end. Sorry, AV guys, this is.
I feel like I'm
fantastic.
back at Burning Man.
Unfortunately, we're getting closer to beer hour, and
that's
this is
not-
another
that's
thing.
not
yeah.
ours.
Yeah, no, that's not yours. No, that's not Joe's fault. Okay, so sorry for the distraction. Okay, so we're going to kick off now. We've got a little eye candy going on. Jamie's firm did an amazing project that was covered in a magazine called Connected Design Technology Designer last year. It was a historic renovation. It was a beautiful project. It was beautifully photographed. And this is one of the things that Jamie and I have gone on the road a little bit to talk about this, because it really is a beautiful representation of aligning interior design, architecture, historical attributes, and full-blown technology. So it's a much deeper story, and I'd encourage you to find that article if you can. If you'd like a link to that, we can certainly tell you. But Jamie, I wanted you to talk to us a little bit about some of the elements that really made an impact, but allowed the design intent to remain true all the way through. And hopefully I don't screw this up. I'm going to hit the green button.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at that.
So if you were in the session earlier today, you may have heard me mention a historic home. This is another historic home. Apparently, that could be our thing. I didn't know that. But many of you know Wolf appliances. This was a Wolf convection oven or microwave oven. I can't really remember. But underneath that, you see these little lines. So in this kitchen space, that is actually a port for a subwoofer, which is giving us all the boomy bass that we're hearing around here. Whenever you have music in a space, you want to hear all of the frequencies in that music. And oftentimes if you forget subwoofers, then you forget the bass, which means you can't dance to Lizzo the way you want to. So you got to have some subwoofer with a kitchen like this. Also, to pair that, we had invisible speakers in that room. So invisible speakers are beautiful and they're great, but they also need a subwoofer. There was a wireless panel, I think, underneath that on the kitchen on that last photo. Here we have a brass toggle switch. This is a Forbes and Lomax toggle switch that looks old school, but behind it is an incredibly smart, intelligent Lutron lighting system. We've got the keypad. We've got a little connector called a wall box controller. And then we have a wire that goes to a processor. And all of that ties together with one flip of the switch. The entire house can be illuminated the way the homeowners want. And it looks period specific. This could absolutely not happen retrofit. Let's see.
Oh, hold on.
We've got some other photos here. You just see how beautiful this kitchen is. I think it's overlaid in kind of a funny way. There we go. There's some more invisible speakers. That was the shot you may have seen earlier of it was actually our very first project. And she came back to us again and remodeled our kitchen again. And it was this remodel that you see right here. Underneath that, you see a keypad that has, I think, 4 or 5 buttons on it. That keypad, not quite the brass toggle. We've got engraved buttons that do various scenes, but it's mounted with a true fig platform, which embeds this keypad into the wall, leaving a very flush finish, which is really nice. There were a few locations in the kitchen where controls were going to be seen, and we wanted to make them as clean as possible. The faceplate can get painted, so all you really see are just those buttons. There's a bunch of different products out there. WallSmart makes them as well with a bunch of different applications. So I encourage you to find your integrator, look for some of those products if you didn't see them on your tour today. What else?
This next one actually is Oren's, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, right on, go
Yeah,
for it.
this is a really cool device. I don't know how many people are familiar with it. This is Amazon's Echo wall clock. It looks like an ordinary wall clock, and they come in different designs. This is the standard one, but there's some antique versions as well. It's a battery-operated clock, and it hangs on the wall, but it has 2 features that you can't see that make it absolutely special. Number one is that it's connected to your Amazon Echo Alexa devices, and it's synced to the clock. It actually has a motor that syncs with your device clocks. So this clock actually shows the correct time all the time, which is daylight savings time. It runs around and catches up. The other thing is that the little tick marks all around the outside edge are all LEDs. And if you go and say, Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes, 3 LEDs will light up on that clock. They'll count down to 2 and then to 1, and then they'll go around with the seconds and count down. So if you're cooking, the easiest way to set times for things is to just say, Alexa, set a timer for 7 minutes for pasta, and it'll say pasta timer 7 minutes, and it'll count down, and it'll control 3 timers at the same time. So it's a real handy device in the kitchen. This one is that bidet seat that I installed and love, and it's something that I think any CD integrator that's looking at other areas to deal with. We always stayed out of the kitchen and the bathroom traditionally because there was water in there, and electronics and water don't mix. But now we're finding that there are opportunities there. Also, water management. This is a device, I don't think they're at the show, but I've seen at least one booth that has this. This is a water meter and water shutoff, and it'll measure the water usage everywhere in the house, and if it detects a leak, defined by water flowing when it shouldn't be, it'll shut the water off to prevent any damage and send you a message. And it requires a plumber to come in and cut the pipe and install it. But this is another one. This is from Flume. This actually straps to the water meter. It doesn't have any plumbing connection at all. It reads the water meter and sends the information to your phone in real time. So you can see how much water every device, showers, bathrooms, irrigation are all using, and compare it to the bill you're getting. This one, Jamie was talking about that brass keypad, and I had a similar situation. I get up in the morning to make coffee, and I kind of stumble into the kitchen, and I have to turn the coffee machine on, and I have to turn the lights on and the music on. I wanted the button to do that. And that wall, there was no place to wire a button. So this is actually a wireless keypad that's glued to the wall with a wall plate that matches all the rest of the wall plates in the kitchen. That one button turns on the espresso machine, the lights, and the music. So I could just walk in, kind of sluggishly hit that button, and I'm ready to sit and wait for my coffee to warm up. So these little keypads are really handy if you're doing a remodeling job especially, and the power and the light controls are not where you want them. This is a way an integrator can put those controls in the right locations and match the decor, and these are easy for a customer to operate because they look just like a light switch.
So WallSmart, if you take a photo of this, WallSmart is
Yeah,
a brand
WallSmart is back here.
Yep, they're on the show floor.
Yeah.
And this is a brand designers you're really going to want to know. They help technology disappear. So
Yes.
gear, devices, gadgets, all that fun stuff. It helps it cohese with your designs as well. So really good brand to get to know. All right, Oren, one more for you.
This is the Amazon Echo Show 15. They're over in the Ring booth right over here. I don't know how many people in the design world are familiar with the Echo devices, but in the kitchen, they're wonderful. You can answer the front door, you can set a timer, you can read the news, you can look up a recipe. I was just playing with the one over there, doing all four of those things simultaneously. The biggest problem is you need to have space in the kitchen to put this thing. And this was a really cool device that Sandus over in the Legrand booth makes. I'll just show it. It's a bracket that mounts under the kitchen cabinet, holds the Echo Show, and lets you pull it down and tilt it and swivel it so you can have it right where you need it when you're cooking, and it's back underneath the cabinet when you're not. So it doesn't take up any counter space or cabinet space or wall space, and an integrator can help you get the wires concealed behind it inside the wall so you don't have a cable hanging out like they do in the booth back there. So this is a good place for a collaboration between an integrator and the kitchen designer to bring this technology to the homeowner and make it look good. That was that wall plate I was talking about. These things will let you hide the power supply and the wires and all that inside the wall behind the unit.
Okay. Eye candy time is over. We are running out of time. We're running a little long, but I'm going to blame it on Joe's booth and a couple other people. So we're just going to keep
This
on.
is correct. But afterwards, you're welcome to take a drink down there and you can hear it for yourself.
Only if they play good music. You got to have good music.
And they do. So Origin Acoustics is the booth that we're harping on here, and that's Joe's company. And they do have amazing products and great sound, and they have a ton of fun. So go see Origin Acoustics and tell them to turn the volume down next time. All right, Pam and Chelsea, maybe give us a little bit of advice, if you would, quick about working with designers for the integration community, and then I'm going to ask the AV side of the lineup to do the exact opposite.
Okay, I think one thing that's maybe not getting across to our audience, as many people we talk to that do have smart technology in their projects, a lot don't. And I think that maybe because designers are having the same ideas that clients, homeowners might have in terms of, used to be the wall acne, the ceiling acne, and everybody here is doing a really great job of hiding that if that's what you want. But I think also addressing, is it easy to use? Does it always have to be updated? Like, what kind of, is it going to be hard? I feel like a lot of people are still feeling like that. So if the design community can be educated on that kind of stuff so they can bring that news to their clients, I don't know if integrators can help out with that or not, but being here is a good place to start with that. And like I said, there plenty of designers actually work, with integrators and all that stuff already, but I still feel like it's a little bit hard. Like, how do they still not know how to contact an integrator? So I think that message needs to be drilled home a little bit more.
Noted. We'll work on that. All right, Pam, how about you?
I think really, to be honest, it's respect the relationship the designer has with the client. I think that's number one. You hear that a lot. Like, I'm afraid to bring somebody in because they're going to take over, make me look stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. So I feel like if they're bringing you as part of the team, let them set the tone. Let them set the tone of the communication, how you're going to communicate. And I think number two is, some designers want to know everything. They want to know all the details. Others don't. Let them let you know what they want. Somebody wants to know how the sausage is made. Tell them. If they don't, they just want to make sure that it aligns with their design. Do that. And last and not, but certainly not least, is budget. Making sure that you're very honest and open about budgets and timelines. Because remember, what they're concerned about is, I have a budget I've given to the client. If I go over that budget, guess who's going to be caught? Me. And then last, we talked about this, and you guys will, it's like, make sure that you have a service component, or you can recommend a service component, because at the end of the day, if that designer has a relationship with the client and something goes wrong, guess who they're going to call? They're probably not going to call you, the integrator. They don't have that relationship. They're definitely going to call the designer. So that's it.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Nothing goes wrong with the sofa, so they don't have that concern.
All right, so Oren, Jamie first, and then Joe, you can pick us up at the end of that. But from the AV side of the relationship, so any recommendations, suggestions?
I think one thing I've seen very interesting on the show floor this year that I didn't see in the past year is that there's really an emphasis on the customer, the user experience, on making things attractive, on making things work the way customers expect them to work rather than the way some engineer thought they should work. And I think that's a great advantage to make this whole partnership work. I think for the integrator, like I said, don't be afraid of the water. The kitchen and bath, the areas that we used to stay out of, are really good areas to get involved in, to get involved with the designer. I think the point that Pamela made about setting the relationship early so that you're not coming in and having a turf war and stealing each other's budgets, but coming in as a unified team is very important, and to make that work.
All right. Jamie, you work with designers a lot.
Yes.
So, yeah, bring in your perspective on this, if you would, and bring us home.
Yeah, best practice would be every project you should consider an integrator as part of your core team. And even if it's a consideration and all you're doing is buying a couch or something simple, at least you've gone through, do I need an electrician? Do I need no, integrator? Nope. But as I said in the panel earlier today, if you open a wall, give me a call. Like, find an integrator that you can at least just pick up the phone and say, hey, I've got this issue. Or the homeowner has their own person, right? Maybe the homeowner has an allegiance to someone, you have no idea who this person is. This happens a ton. If that's the case, and you have someone you like, talk to that person. Say, hey, this is what I'm hearing and seeing that someone else is putting in on this project. Sorry I couldn't bring you in, but is this right? Is this price right? Does this make sense? Will it work in the end? And if it doesn't, will you service it for them? Like, those candid conversations are really important, which is why it's great to have someone just there. Every project, think about them. They can become your best friend. They can become your worst enemy, but we really don't want to go down that road anymore. So that's why we're here today.
Beautiful. All right, so now that we've filled your head with all sorts of ideas and ways that you can integrate technology into your design considerations, now, questions? Anything?
Well, I wanted to add one thing.
Okay.
Don't worry about having a client call you, the designer community, for service of things for an integrator. 22 years never happens, because integrators are a little bit different. For some reason, we end up becoming extensions of those people's families. Interior designers, kitchen and bath designers typically are there during the remodel. They do all those kind of things. But once the bath dries and the tile is set and all of those, designers move on to the next thing. We are there a lot. We typically could get anywhere between 12 to 24 calls a year because a new 8K TV came out. I saw these new sexy speakers. I did this. I
got a new phone and I don't know what to do. I changed my ISP and now everything's broken.
Exactly. See, so don't worry about that. I've heard this misconception before, thinking that either when bad things happen or something that can look like it might be the integrator, because believe me, we also get calls that are not our fault, like breakers. TV won't turn on. Well, you tripped your breaker, dude. That's something you don't have to worry about. We all, as integrators, have a service plan, or we have a set way of putting service in motion, rolling a truck. taking care of these clients' every need when it comes to technology. So forget that misconception. It doesn't exist.
Wait,
Those
I'm sorry,
things
but
will not
what
come
is the
back on you guys.
misconception that there are some integrators that may not have a service
Every integrator has
Well,
an
every
email and a
integrator
phone
that-
number.
I think
that
the
is reputable. Let's
yeah.
just put it that way, remember?
I
Well,
think the
it's-
misconception is that the designer is going to get a call when something breaks. Now, what can happen is if you have an unhappy relationship and you're not being serviced very well by your integrator, they might take it out on you, right? They may come back to you and say, I've been trying with this person, they're not getting back with me, you recommended me, why you know, they're not a great contractor.
I think when you have a designer who has a really good relationship with the client, their first instinct is to go to the designer and not the integrator. They don't know
Really?
you, so, and that doesn't mean that they're not going to then call you, but I think that what I think we were talking about is making sure that you pick a reputable integrator that you know you can turn to, that you feel comfortable with, making sure that they support you, because you have a relationship with that client that you absolutely do not want to break, because they're trusting you to bring somebody into the project that's going to help them if something happens. That's all I think we were saying. Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Any questions? Sure.
There's a microphone
There's a microphone up there if you don't mind,
right here.
on a stand in the middle of the row.
You used the term FIG, I think FIG, FIG.
TrueFig, yeah, TRUFIG, and then WallSmart, WALLSMART.
So is TrueFig a brand?
It is a brand,
Oh, so
yes.
It's
not
a
an
brand
act-
of Sonance, so they're in the Sonance booth.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a brand of products. TrueFig
Okay,
and WallSmart are a brand of products that can be used to conceal almost any kind of electrical outlet, a phone outlet, an iPad, heating and cooling registers. Instead of having them on the surface, they get flush mounted. There's some, and like Sonos, they have a way to conceal Sonos so you don't have to see the speaker bar, it goes in the wall. I highly recommend you check out WallSmart and TrueFig, both. They're really good.
And flush mount.
And flush mount, sorry, you just announced that. Sorry about that. Other questions?
Okay. So if you have questions after the fact, my original offer still stands, and I'm bringing everybody else into the equation here. So if you find that you have questions, and you undoubtedly will, that's totally fine. Afterwards, I'm happy to share my card with you. You can certainly come to me. I am not the expert. I just know really smart people that can get you all the right answers and get you into the right place. So again, hand on heart, I'm here to help, and I would love to make this connection stronger for you. These
You said
two
you were
QR
gonna buy
codes,
us
if you
all
haven't
a
already
drink,
zapped
right?
them, go ahead and grab those QR codes, because they're going to be your new best friend. CEDIA is on the left, CEDIA is on the left, HTA is on the right, the cute little dinosaurs. Snap those photos. Hold on to those websites. They are filled with resources. More importantly, on each of those sites, you'll find a section that says Find an Integrator, or it may say Dealer Locator. Look for those two and go down that path. Depending on where you work or where you have clientele, you can do a search and find those integrators that are in your market or in that market. That can be a resource for you. And then from there, we just encourage you to go through and do some due diligence, interview them, talk to them, see how you feel about it. You want to have a great relationship with the integrator. You need to vibe with them really well, just like you do with your client and your other business partners. So it is important to go through the interview process and just get to know them a little bit better. Ask them for references from other trades. And then call those other trades and check those references too. Make sure they play well with others, make sure they play well with designers, architects, builders, and specifiers, right? Your people should work well with our people, and doing that interview will help you get there. So again, if you haven't already snapped those two QR codes, go for it. I'm Katie McGregor-Bennett. I'm your host for today. I thank you for joining us. We're going to run down the line one more time. They're going to give you contact information should you need. So if you've got something to capture information, go for it. Otherwise, just hit us up afterwards. And thank you guys for joining us. Joe, go on down the line.
It's joe@originacoustics.com. Easiest email in the world. If you want to know anything about, high design-centric technology like Bang & Olufsen, flush mount we were talking about, just some really beautiful speakers, things for your space. Now LED under cabinet lights, which are super hot right now. You can find us over at the booth right down the way. And I am always open to shoot me an email. I always answer questions pretty quickly.
My social handle for all of our platforms is Control STL. because we're in St. Louis and we're kind of into controlling things. So Control STL. And if you want to send me an email, it's Jamie, Jamie, at controlstl.com. As an integrator, I don't have a booth, but I'm excited to actually go visit them tomorrow because I've been very busy today and haven't seen too many. Thank you so much for coming, truly.
Hi, I'm Orin Charm. That's ORRINCHARM at gmail.com. I'm looking for interesting consulting projects and looking at new products and ways to make them work better for people. Be happy to talk to anybody, solve problems. It's what I do. Thanks.
I'm not going to give you my email address, it's too hard. I do have cards with me if anyone would like one. And like I said, our magazine is here out on the show floor. Please grab a copy of that. We'll have our 2023 editorial calendar ready soon. So if anybody wants to contribute to, a tech project that you have completed or an article that you'd like to write, anything like that, you can contact me. Our website's KBB Online. Social handles are Kitchen and Bath Business and KBB Connect.
So I just wanted to give you a shortcut to find an integrator. Find an integrator, NKBA will take you right to the HTA locator page. Just FYI. Alan, raise your hand. Alan is my coworker. If you have any questions about the NKBA, we'll be here over at the bar, of course. And that's it. Back to you.